Well, welcome back to my home in Sacramento, and big thank you to my wife Margot, who has been videotaping these, my cinematographer. I thought today we would work on the kata, well, we used to call it daini seisan, but the kata kanshu. I think everybody in the class was also working on this kata, but I would like to go over again how we keep working on finding our koshi in the kata, how we find our center, and how we move from our hips. This kata introduces some techniques that aren't in the Hujunda, and so for those working on it, we're going to be introduced to the concept of using nugates and the concept of using two hands together for different techniques. So let's get into the kata. Again, as we bow and we get in, we want to find our center and our koshi. So before we even start the kata, you want to find your posture. Now, I find as I start studying kata, I begin to start thinking about them, and one thing that can go away is my posture pretty rapidly, because as I think, I tend to kind of look to the ground or let my eyes move different places. That's not what you want to be doing as you're doing the kata. You want to just relax, begin to feel the kata, even in this neutral stance, and find your posture, and feel yourself already beginning to sink into your own hips. As we bow, and we're going to bow from the hips, and as I'm bowing, I'm already beginning to feel this connection to my koshi, to my lower back. As I come up, I'm going to do a sanshin opening, so I'm going to feel, again, my little fingers coming into the earth, and my little fingers moving around my body, so that my lower back is beginning to roll. But I'm also feeling a connection here in my hara and in my center. We're going to step out on the right foot, sanshin opening, grab, really feel your armpit squeezing, feel the connection to the floor, make sure you've got good foot contact, come up, and we begin with a sanshin thrust. So the next technique is something I want you to pay a lot of attention to. This kata is attributed to either Kane Uechi or Itakazu Sensei. I don't know who developed the kata. I just know Johnny taught me this kata. And one of the things that we worked on quite a bit as I was learning this kata is this technique, the second technique, where we're going to bring our hands from sanshin, we're going to come in and around and strike basically to the temples. I use the hirakan strike. I know sometimes people now are using seikan, but I use this flat fist, this hirakan. But what's interesting about this technique is it begins to give you a sense of what we're going to use over and over again, or what you may use over and over again in sparring. And that's this notion of your hands staying in the same plane as your body moves forward. So I'm going to move here to the makawara, not this part, the makawara, but this part of the makawara. So what's going on with this technique is as though you're doing a punch, where your body's moving, but your hand stays in the plane until you're ready to extend the punch. So this technique has the same kind of feel to it. My hands are going to stay here until I'm ready to do the technique. So my body's moving into my hands are retracting. I'm not sure how better to articulate that, but you want to feel that sense of what's that going on with your body as you're doing the kata. Another concept that's really prevalent in this kata is something that Naidi Sensei emphasizes considerably, and that's pronation. And again, for those of you that are totally technical, I understand it's pronation and supination, but you want to feel the pronation going on in your body during these techniques. So we've done our sanshin thrust. As we do this first movement, I'm going to slide forward. I'm going to make this strike. Now, in addition to my arms pronating as I come in and doing the strike, I'm also feeling my hips on the floor. When I first learned the Shotokan kata, the Kankudai, which is the gaze at the moon kata, the person teaching it to me, who happened to be my sparring partner and good friend, really emphasized the need to feel the floor on these. As we came up into the gaze in the moon position, and we're looking, when we did this first movement, it was sort of like ripping heaven or gathering energy from heaven, and then coming in collecting. It wasn't done with just the arms. And I'm going to ask Margaret to make sure she can see my feet on this. So as my hands came up, when I move out, my heels actually turn out in this kata. When I bring my hands in, my heels turn in. So there's this constant motion in this kata out of this feeling of this gathering of power from the hips and from the floor. That is exactly the same thing you want to feel in this technique. As you move in, there's a sense of opening the hips slightly as you're making this motion, and then closing the hips as you make this strike. Then you're going to open your hips for a moment just so you can get power to curl in and do the next technique, the morote hachikuke, or the two-handed snapping block, or snapping block I think is really the way, and open. And you want to feel this sense of snapping. So again, there's a tendency sometimes when you're practicing this kata to get moving on the kata in the sense of pushing forward from your chest as opposed to from your hips. In this kata, you really want to make sure the whole time that you're moving from your hips, not from your chest. From the hips, not from the chest. Feel this sense of snapping. And this sense of snapping, you want your shoulders down, but don't get too chesty with it. Don't feel like you need to squeeze. You're going to snap and fly off. Those of you that have been working on Kane Uechi's kumite number 1, this technique where we do the back fist, that's exactly the feeling you want to have, the sense of almost ricocheting off each of the objects that you're blocking. So, and then taking that energy from the ricochet and putting it into the strike. So, we've done the strike, we've done the double hirakens, the double hachiki block. Now we're going to open our palm, slide forward again from the hips, and back fist. As you're doing this, make sure you're keeping that back fist level and extending past the hand. After we do the back fist, we're going to step in, do a circle block. And as I do this Mooshizuki, I want to feel again energy in the palm of my hands. I want to feel myself as though I'm twisting in through my arm. And that makes it easier for me to do my first kick, which is a front kick this time. Don't do what I just did. Don't let that elbow drop out. So as you circle, you want to feel both the hands engaged. And I think that's a wonderful part about this kata, is keep both of your hands engaged. Don't let either side of your body go dead. And we follow it up with a second kick, stepping through, circle, hammer fist. As you do the hammer fist, just like on the kanshiwa kata, I feel extension. I don't let my shoulder go out, but I feel extension through my arm. And then as I do the hammer fist, which should be roughly about your own jaw level, I can feel the sense of closing, again, from my hips. Circling from my hips. I'm now going to do a boshiken. Now this is a technique that we haven't done before. We don't do it in Huchu Undo. Some of you may have done it in some kumites, but you want to feel that thumb come across, so you're hitting with this part of your thumb. Some people hit here, but most people hit here, so you want to have that sense of hitting and driving in with your thumb on the boshiken. You also want to have a sense of, as you're doing it, coming up, as though you're coming up the center line. You want to feel yourself as you're driving up that person's center, driving that thumb right up into them. Then we're going to circle, so we hit, boshiken, circle again, nugate. Again, another technique that is new to this kata. So, in doing a nugate, you're going to start in the same position as you would in Sanshin. The nugate is going to come out. In Sanshin, you would roll over and strike. From here, you just stay down. Now for kata, when you practice a nugate, your Sanshin strike would be here, your nugate is here. Sanshin, nugate, Sanshin, nugate. In actual application, your nugate is probably going to be lower. Things to watch out for as you're practicing this, though, is because you're going to do a nugate, don't drop your hand down to start from here. Make sure your hand starts from the same position as Sanshin each time. So we would do our nugate, and then we'll turn. And we'll pick it up on the turn. Thank you.